Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your February 2019 mid-month general readings. Thanks to everyone for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers and returners and subscribers. I apologize ahead of time for any coughing or sounding like an asthmatic frog. I am getting over a bad bronchial thing, and while I'm over the feeling truly bad part, I still sound a bit froggy and congested, so I apologize for that. So thank you for kind of powering through with the rest of us here. Thanks also to my clients out there for continuing to keep me so busy with personal readings, new and regular clients. And for those of you who take the time to send in your support, feedback, and comments, thank you so much. If any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, you can get more info and contact details by clicking on the description bar below, or the description bar link to any of the videos I post, or you can go directly to my YouTube channel's homepage. Click on the little about button there. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. I can usually get back to you within the same day or the first 24 hours of your initial contact with more info. And turnaround time for scheduling readings is pretty decent too. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is all that I do. So I work pretty diligently with people's schedules to get them a reading within a pretty timely fashion, to the best of my ability, of course. And I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life, love and romance, of course, compatibility, reconciliation, career, work and finance, investment readings, gift readings. And I also do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in your life in all the main areas over a 6 or 12-month period, depending on how far ahead you want to look. So something for you to consider. There's a few different options. Send me an email if you're interested. Okay, so let's move right into this reading. This reading is for the air sign of Libra for the remainder of February 2019. Remember that general readings always resonate a little differently for everybody watching because there's so many of you watching. So if you know your rising and moon sign, watch those videos as well. They can provide additional clarification. All right, my beautiful Librans. Let's see what the remainder of February has in store for you. Everybody seems to be about making choices and crunch time for that so far. So around the middle of the month, third week or so, we have the moon clarified by the Seven of Pentacles. Around the last week or towards the end of February, we have strength, followed by the Six of Swords. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance for the remainder of February 2019 is the Two of Wands. So yes, the energy continues. We have been seeing for the last few months, and particularly around the beginning of this month, energies around, a lot of us are trying to bring a cycle to an end, or the challenges in struggling to bring a cycle to an end, which often means letting go of one thing, making the decision to let go of some things in our lives so that we can move forward. And that's been the challenge, a lot of decision-making choices, thinking about things, going back and forth between things. And I do see that continuing for a lot of the signs for the remainder of February, but it feels more focused in and more like crunch time with these decisions now. Your overall energy is about trying to make a choice, being at a crossroads, trying to make a choice. As advice with the Two of Wands, the advice and guidance is, in order to make choosing the path a little easier, it's actually about focusing on the long-term goals. That's what you need to make the decision and choice. For some of you, this might be in the relationship area of your life, love and romance, or some other significant relationship. It could be in career, work, and finance. It could be in all those areas of your life. But this is about making the choice on which path to take, not based on what's around you at the crossroads. That might be all confused and foggy and fuzzy and full of emotions. But it's about making the choice on as to which path to take based on what your destination is. What is your, for instance, whatever area of your life it is that you might be, not having enough clarity or having difficulty making a decision. When you look at that area of your life, stop focusing on what's going on in it right now, and instead just take a look at that area of your life and ask yourself, what's my ultimate vision, my long-term goal? in career, work, and finance? What's my ultimate vision, long-term goal, and relationship? What kind of a relationship do I really want to find myself in a year from now, 5 years from now, or job, etc.? This works in any area of your life. And once we decide what our destination is, it makes taking the path to get there a lot clearer. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily easy, but it makes the path that we know we need to take clear, so we can have a starting point to start this journey, because choosing the path that's going to lead you to your long-term vision and goal is what you need to do here. And that decision needs to be made on where you want to end up, not what's necessarily going on right now. For example, if you're trying to make important relationship decisions, ask yourself, what kind of a relationship do I want to find myself in a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Now take a look at the relationship that you're in, or the relationship you want to be in. Does you and your partner have the same long-term goals? Do you want the same things? If not, then it makes your path and your decision clear as to what you need to do. Perhaps not easy, but clear, because if you're not on the same path and you don't speak your truth about that, you're never going to have what you want anyway. The same works with career, work, and finance as well. Is the path that you're currently on going to continue leading you there? If not, then it makes your decision on which path to choose clear. So the decision and choice that you're considering making, Libra, needs to be based not on what's going on with you right now, but does where you're at right now continue to propel you towards what you want? If not, then there's no sense in continuing to invest in it. Don't spend a long time staying in a mistake. You know, don't stay, what's the saying? Don't stay in a mistake simply because you took a long time making it. It's not going to make the path any shorter. So the decision needs to be made based on what your long-term goal is and what you truly want. Now we have the moon clarified by the Seven of Pentacles, and this is that exact same message echoed again. The moon can represent a lack of clarity. Things look very different under the light of the moon than they do under the light of the sun. Under the light of the moon, there's a lot of shadowy corners and hidden recesses and nooks. We can't see everything. There's a lot of subconscious spiritual stirrings pulling us one way, pulling us another, but we're not exactly sure because things are not exactly always clear. There's just these things kind of churning around in our subconscious and spiritual feelings. It can also represent that you are being kind of pulled and tugged on by your own intuition, by spiritual messages, God, Spirit, your angels, and guides, but there's still this lack of clarity, and I feel like it's because you're not willing to shine the light on it and see it for what it truly is. Now what clarifies that is the Seven of Pentacles. So this is what we were saying here. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of reflection and assessment. It's a card of taking stock. And the tarot tends represent cycles completing, coming full circle, culmination, a cycle ending. So we're at a 7 here, which means that the harvest is pretty decent, but we're not at a 10. This is about taking stock of what you have and trying to make decisions based on that. Are you content with what you have in whatever area of your life this is manifesting in? Are you content with being at a 7? If you want a 10, what decisions do you need to make? Is there a chance to turn this harvest into a 10? Should you just take what you can, harvest it, and move on to something different? Can you make changes to get you to a 10? It's about reflection, contemplation, taking stock before you continue the harvest and decide what you want to do. And we already know your overall energy is to make that decision based on whether or not realistically this path or this path is going to get you to that long-term vision and goal. Now at or towards the end of, I almost said September for some reason, at or towards the end of February 2019, we have strength clarified by the Six of Swords. Here's some pretty strong advice right here. Strength, major arcana card. This is not about wave your sword around, muscles, brute strength kind of strength. This is about more of an inner strength. This is about the strength, wisdom, insight, and humility that it takes to actually look ourselves in the mirror, to face our fears, our doubts, our insecurities, our bad habits, our negative patterns, poor choices, and deal with those. It's about facing our fears, perhaps even negative traits, whatever our fears are, whatever our patterns are, struggling with them, doing the work that it takes to walk into them. It means making a decision that is not fear-based or fear-driven, that it's based on what you know your heart is telling you, what you know the truth is, what your truth and what is best for you is, even if that has to mean speaking their truth, facing your fears and speaking your truth anyway. That's part of the strength it takes to do that. It takes strength, wisdom, courage, true humility to go through this process and come out the other side, but it's also what you gain more of. Beautiful, beautiful energy. And what clarifies that is the Six of Swords. It's healing. It's moving away from chaotic waters behind you and moving into a place that's more stable, harmonious, serene. Healing, it's a card about healing primarily. Now, a healing process, particularly in the beginning, can have up and down days, but slowly, gradually, you get further and further away from it. It's transitional. The worst is behind you. You're not quite to the other shore and on solid ground yet, but definitely moving towards that. And that's what facing your fear, that's what you need to do. You need to move into a place of healing, and it's going to take strength in order to do that. It's about making a decision based on what your truth is, which is a message I'm getting repeated for a lot of the signs for February 2019 mid-month. So let's pull a couple of final advice and guidance cards for you from Spirit. Libra. I hope I didn't say another sign. It occasionally happens with us readers sometimes. But this is for Libra. Guidance and advice for Libra for the remainder of February 2019. The Eight of Wands, clarified by Justice. The Eight of Wands is a communication card. It sometimes represents travel, but I'm feeling strong conversation and communication here. Communicating, conversing, speaking. Clarified by Justice, which is the Reap What You Sow card. Justice means that what you sow is what you reap. What you put into something is directly reflected in what you get back out of it. The outcome of whatever you decide to do is going to be based on what you choose to do. What's motivating what you choose to do? Are you making a decision fueled by fear or on what you truly think is right for you? Cautionary advice with Justice is to proceed with honesty, truth, and the highest level of honor and integrity that you can, particularly in conversations you have with anybody else about where you're going in the future, whether it's a relationship or a job, work, and career. And that can sometimes be a very scary thing. And Justice as advice too represents, for example, if it were a relationship and you're speaking your truth about where you really want to go and what your relationship goals are, you may be interested or love or be in a relationship with someone who, as it turns out, does not want the same thing. And Justice as advice means not only do you speak your truth, but if that is their truth, you need to accept that too, with as much honor and integrity as you can. We can't really punish other people for being where they're at any more than we can for being where we're at either. So definitely being very truthful and open and honest in all your communications for the remainder of February 2019 is going to be very important, particularly about where you want to go from here on out. So Libra, that pretty much wraps up your February 2019 mid-month reading. Excuse me. I hope that you found it helpful and useful, and will find it helpful and useful as the month continues to play out. Again, if any of you are interested in a more personal, tailored just for you, one-on-one reading with me, please click on the description bar below for more info and contact details, or click on the little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage. Email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and that link is also provided. That's really good for quick answers to the quick, easy questions. More complex issues, probably best to go with more traditional readings, and I do a wide variety of those as well. So contact me one way or the other if you're interested, and we'll see what we can do for you. So Libra, I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the March 2019 general readings. Until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy, happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.